Selling doesn't have to be slimy. Basically, if story leads the way, then sales automatically becomes a natural conversation because your audience is already interested in you. They trust you already. Remember, we always talk about the KLT factor, which is before a client or a prospect or a lead gets to want to do business with you, they have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you. And this is what storytelling can achieve for you. So it doesn't have to be slimy. Once you lead with the right kind of story, then strategically, automatically, sales conversation becomes easier to have. I'm Dr. Ish, and in today's episode of Brand Story School, I'm going to walk you through the process of what I call the story first sales approach, which I have consistently used in selling my high ticket programs, courses, coaching sessions without being pushy or desperate or salesy or slimy. So let's get right into it and make selling feel like a service. Let's position you strategically to be a solution provider first before you start selling. Of course, that can be done by sharing the right and relevant story.
Yeah, welcome back. So good to have you back. Thank you for surviving day one, two, three, four, five. Now we are on day six. I hope you have been implementing everything we have been learning, the action plans, the assignments, because knowledge is complete waste if you've learned so much and you're not implementing. Implementation is key, very important. If you know me, if you've been in any of my live classes, I always love and place so much emphasis on the practical aspects of our learnings. That's like 100% kind of thing for me. Practical is always important because practice makes better, not perfect, because we keep trying to get 1% better every day than what we were yesterday. So today on day six, we'll be handling storytelling in sales conversations, right? My name is Dr. Ishoma Elora Ona, also known as Dr. Ish. So I will be handling today's class, like I said, storytelling in sales conversations. Before you close a deal with your lead, your client, your prospect, whatever terminology you wish to use, you must have had emotional connections with them of some sort, connected with them of some sort, being authentic, being vulnerable, and most importantly, having conversations before you can eventually close the deal. You cannot meet a client or whoever it is today and close the deal tomorrow. Conversations will need to have been had. All right. I remember a student of mine called me. Oh no, she sent me a WhatsApp message yesterday. Oh, Dr. Ish, I've got great news for you. I just got a remote job. And it was because she infused storytelling into her interview session. Now that's totally mind blowing because I just trained her about having them in conversations, not even in interview sessions. But anyway, I mean, conversation is a conversation. When it could be an impromptu interview session. So as a sales professional, everybody is a sales professional, please. Even if you're a doctor, lawyer, whatever, you are in the business of selling yourself, selling what you do. So, as a sales professional, you are constantly looking for ways to connect with your customers. It's so important because you want to build trust and ultimately close deals. And one of the most effective ways to achieve these goals is through storytelling. Trust me, money back guarantee. Try it. It always works. It has never failed me for one day. Storytelling has the power to transform your sales conversations, making them more engaging, memorable, and impactful. So, why does storytelling matter in sales? Very important question. I always like, throwing questions like that, answering them as much as I can, and waiting for your feedback if you need more explanation. So, the question is, why does storytelling matter in sales? Storytelling matters in sales because it creates emotional connections. Remember, we've been mentioning emotional connection, deep, meaningful level, deep level. So important, being authentic, Be vulnerable, resonating, relatable, important. These words are very crucial and things you need to take note of. It creates emotional connection because it has the power to evoke emotions, creating a connection between your customers and you on a deeper level. It also builds trust. Stories can build trust with your customers, making them more likely to believe in you. They need to believe in you before they can believe in your product or your service. It differentiates your product. Stories can differentiate your product or service from the competition, making it more memorable and impactful. Number four is it simplifies complex information. Stories can simplify complex information, making it easier for your customers to understand and relate to. So, how do you use storytelling in sales conversations? I'm sure that's what you're thinking to ask me next. Like, Dr. Ish, okay, you said storytelling in sales conversations. How am I going to be discussing with a client and just start telling them once upon a time? Is that how it works? Okay, so don't be scared. I'm going to give you an explanation on how that can work for you. All right, especially when you are pitching for your business, your service, or even trying to get a job, because opportunities like this always come up, sometimes planned, sometimes impromptu. So you just need to know the basics. So how do you use storytelling in sales conversations or in pitching yourself for whatever it is you want? And here are a few tips. You can just tweak them to be suitable to you at any point in time. First thing, you start with a hook. Remember, we always talk about this hook being the headline, which is the beginning of the story you want to tell. Whether it is being written or being said, you must start with a hook. That first line to grab their attention. So when you start with a hook, it grabs your customer's attention, and you have to use customer-centric language. Use language that is centered around your customers' needs and pain points. If you do not know what their needs and pain points are, please do a research so that when you are speaking to them, you are interjecting those words regularly. Keep it concise. I'm always talking about removing fluff and irrelevancies. They will just get bored and zone out, and you really don't want them to zone out, because the average human being's attention span these days is so poor, so low. Every little thing, too many distractions around. All right. So keep your story concise and to the point, avoiding unnecessary details. So use storytelling frameworks, right? Like the hero's journey, how you went from ground zero to ground 100, your journey, the steps you took, the process and steps you took in moving yourself from point A to point B. People are really curious to know about that. That makes it more authentic and makes it more believable. It's not a magic or flash in the pan. There needs to be a process or a formula, or as they say, show your workings. So you have to show them your workings and show them how you arrived at that point in time, and the kind of problems you solve, the systems you use in solving those problems, and look for a way to tie it to their current challenge or whatever it is you have promised some certain results, and stick within a problem agitation solution framework to structure your story. Remember, problem agitation solution framework to structure your story. And then practice, 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 practice. Keep practicing. Practice your storytelling skills to whoever is ready to listen to you, and let them keep critically analyzing you. The more you do it, the better you become, so you can deliver your story confidently and effectively. Please don't take this for granted. You need to practice it. Don't wait for the opportunities to come. You start creating those opportunities with your friends and family, because at least you'll be a bit comfortable with them, and then they can analyze and tell you, oh, you don't sound believable. No, your story is not nice, until you can grab their attention, and then you know that yes, you are getting somewhere. I usually recommend sometimes, especially if it has to be a physical presentation, you stand in front of a mirror and analyze yourself, and test run and see. Or you could even do a video recording and send to a couple of friends to analyze your story, and maybe find out areas that you need to work on. All right. So there are several types of stories you can tell in sales and conversations. They include customer success stories of your other customers. Please don't lie. Some may want to verify, so you need to be very careful and cautious here. Tell them actual truth, what happened, what the problems are. Don't overblow them and don't shrink them. Keep it straight and concise. So success of how you help them to achieve success with your product or your service. You know product origin stories that share the story of how your product or your service was created, your why, your purpose, why did you create it, and what problems are you hoping to solve with those problems. So problem solution stories, which is to share stories of how your product or service solves a specific problem or pain point. Then we have personal stories. Share personal stories of how you've helped customers achieve their goals. All right. This is so important. And then this takes us to the benefit of storytelling in sales, because there are lots of benefits in storytelling in sales. So many people that came from my classes that use storytelling in sales have been able to convert leads, generate. In fact, I have a particular month in October 2024. I generated 269 leads that month. I went all out. My stories were so structured and targeted. I got 269 leads, and quite a number of them were foreigners. As we speak, I'm still sieving through them because I mean, not all the leads will be necessarily qualified, but showed some certain level of interest. And that's even the ones I could keep track of. So ultimately, storytelling helps so well in sales conversations, especially when you are writing stories and people are reading your stories. It has a very powerful way of converting people over to your side and your values, and of course pick a lot of interest, right? So the benefits of storytelling in sales conversations are numerous, and they include: it increases engagement, it and participation in sales conversations. Your clients, the more they'll be asking questions. Really? That happened to you? You experienced this? How did you come out of it? And then you find out that your story is getting longer because you're explaining more. They're interested, they're nodding, they're saying yes, and they're wild. As long as you're able to get that connection, it becomes smooth sailing from that point on, because that rapport becomes more increased, and the connection gets deeper and deeper the more you are speaking and vibing with each other. So the improved retention, it helps them to recall more information about your product or service, making it more likely that customers remember your product or service rather than facts and figure, which is boring for some people. It also increases trust and credibility with customers, making it more likely that they'll do business with you. And the sweetest part for me is it differentiates you, because you're not the only one in this business. You're not the only one doing what you're doing now. So your storytelling skill, the better it becomes, differentiates you from other people selling your product or service or looking for a job within the same industry. It just makes you stand out from competition, making it more memorable and impactful, right? But storytelling, like I said, isn't just for marketing. It can be used by anybody, no matter the profession. It can be used by anybody. It's such a wonderful skill that it can transcend from for lawyers, doctors, nurses, social media, copywriting, sales, marketing, business consulting, you name it. Storytelling can work for any aspect of life. It works a lot, right? And as usual, you know how we do it. We always have our examples of clients who have worked in the past with us, and we just share. Of course, for confidentiality purpose, we don't share too much information, but just to give you an idea of how to practicalize things. So we have here Michael, who's a sales expert, who started using storytelling. Initially, he wasn't closing sales. Everywhere was a dead end silence. And when I started telling stories of, success stories of other clients who had used, not necessarily through him, but through his organization, who had used their products and services, and, the testimonies that came with it, telling the stories of the challenges the clients faced and how the products changed their lives, conversion rate increased by 20%. So using storytelling in sales calls is absolutely amazing. Now, you may not just get it immediately, but more you use it, the better you become at it, right? And of course, as usual, I will just, in briefly, in conclusion, before we move to the action plan, storytelling is just like a brief recap. It's a powerful tool in sales conversations. It allows you to connect with your customers, build trust, and ultimately close deals. And by using storytelling frameworks, keeping your story concise and practicing your skills, you can become a master storyteller in sales conversations. Remember that the benefits of storytelling in sales conversations are numerous, including increased engagement, improved retention, increased trust, and differentiation. And moving to the action plan, I would say develop a storytelling skill for sales conversions, conversation, sorry. Like I said, the more you practice, the better you become. Practice, 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 practice sharing customer success stories. Write them down and rehearse with your friends or family. Let them analyze and use storytelling to overcome objections. When your clients say, "Oh, it's too expensive," then tell the story of someone who said it was expensive and how you helped to convince them and how the product or service transformed their lives. Okay, that's just an example. And as usual, our assignment. So, role play a sales conversation using storytelling with a friend or a family member or a fellow colleague, and let them analyze how well or how not well you did it. And if you have a way of contacting me, you could do a role play in a video and send to me. And as usual, I either give you a thumbs up or I correct you on how you can do it better. So, we are moving to day 7.
So the thing in using storytelling to sell to your target audience is that the more they see themselves in your story, the easier it becomes for them to tell you yes. So watch the next lesson to learn how to measure if your storytelling is actually landing. And then if you're interested in getting access to Q&A sessions, strategies, tips, content profiling, messaging audits, and basically how to sell your brand without being slimy or pushy, then you would want to be in the Telegram session or the Telegram class. So the link is in the description box, and I will see you in class.